Is there anything occultic or dangerous about Smurfs?
Well, there are some things about Smurfs that we need to look at. First of all, you'll notice that they're depicted as blue with black lips.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you know what happens to you when you die? You turn blue and your lips turn black.
In other words, these are depictive of dead creatures.
Right. And another thing is that Smurfs is an all-male community. And you say, oh, there's Smurfette. She's a female. Well, in one cartoon, she was depicted as transforming from a male to a female through magical power. And so the only female in the Smurfs is transformed from a male. She was not born a female.
No, what you're telling me then is that even Smurfs carry a homosexual connotation in that most of them are male.
I believe so.
But we're not going to blatantly say that Smurfs are evil. We're just saying that they have all of these overtones that are leading that direction.
We're looking at Yoda right now, and Yoda was called the Zen Master. Of course, this was based on Zen Buddhism. He's a three-fingered, three-toed beast. So he has the 2 fingers and the thumb, which from my information means Satan is Lord.
E.T., the extraterrestrial. What can we say about him?
Yes, it was a camouflage occult movie, including levitation, psychic healing, mind control, mental telepathy, that type of thing. E.T. also included some inferences to homosexuality within the movie.
Homosexuality?
Yes.
Here's a Rainbow Bright cereal box, and I mean, what are you saying about Rainbow Bright?
Again, it's a humanistic emblems and humanistic value system.
Well, the rainbow represents the networking of the New Age.
Right.
And it's interesting that she has a little 5-sided star on her cheek. I don't know if you can see that on the box, but there's a little 5-sided star, and it's upside down, which I'm not going to say it's used in this depiction, but that's a pentagram again.
Yes.
And that's another New Age and occultic symbol. So we have to be careful even with Rainbow Bright. You parents that are watching today, it is your responsibility. If you allow your children to watch these cartoons, if you allow them to bring these comic books into the house, if you allow them to have these toys or you buy them for them, you're going to be held responsible before God. God says not to bring an accursed thing into your house, lest you should be accursed as it is. These things are occultic, they're accursed. They teach the children to get into spells, into witchcraft, and to serve demon powers.
Reasons on rock and roll music and why I preach against it, and I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today. I 100% believe it. Why I believe that is because I know how it feels when you sing it. I know what it does to you. And I know the evil feeling that you feel when you sing it. I know the lost position that you get into in the beat. Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about rock and roll music that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat, the beat, the beat.
You know, there's something about when you go to a concert of death metal, somebody might get killed. Right. You know, you're worshiping death. And then all of a sudden people start dying. Oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, you love death so much that you bought the ticket? Yeah. You love worshiping Satan? Well, let's have some of Satan's religion come in and shoot you. I mean, that's what these people should think about before they go to such a wicked concert.
It looks all real cute and fun, but why do you have to portray such a negative influence for the youth, for my kids? I don't, in the world. Sorry. You should be.
Teletubbies are a PBS hit with the toddler set. But the Reverend Jerry Falwell has launched a warning in the latest issue of his National Liberty Journal, telling parents Tinky Winky is gay.
No.
Parents, be very careful what your children are watching. They watch 20 to 35 hours of television weekly. Be sure that subtle and bad images are not being planted in their minds.
Tinky Winky is a boy, but Falwell's magazine says the fact he carries a purse suggests he's homosexual. Falwell's journal also points out Tinky Winky's purple and sports an inverted triangle on his head, both symbols of gay pride.
Let me say something about Harry Potter. Warlocks are enemies of God. And I don't care what kind of hero they are. They're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament, Harry Potter would have been put to death.
St. Edward Catholic School in Nashville is facing backlash after the school's pastor pulled the Harry Potter series from the library. In an email to parents, Father Dan Rehill explained that the series glorify acts of conjuring the dead and evil spirits.
A group of rabbis and priests held demonstrations over this past weekend, and they were demonstrating against a movie called The Life of Brian.
Protesters around the world marched against The Life of Brian. It was dropped by financiers, banned by councils, states, even entire countries. But it still managed to get shown and still managed to offend seemingly every world religion.
What happened to sticks and stone can break my bone, but words can never hurt me.
Councillor Hitchin, why have you banned The Life of Brian?
Because from what we've heard about it, we think that it's going to be an extremely offensive film on religious grounds.
Now, you've not actually seen the film, have you?
No, we haven't.
What reports have you had of it? Where have those reports come from?
The reports have come from the Festival of Light.
What do you know about the Festival of Light yourself?
Nothing.
Dungeons and Dragons is a real serious problem. I began to look through the instruction manual, and I see here how to cast magical spells and mage spells and cleric spells. And you go to the pages that it's listed on, in this instance page 41, and they have complete descriptions of how to cast spells and how to contact powerful spirits and how to use these spirits and these powers to overcome, obviously, evil or good. Here it says, it is important to remember that the source of all magic is the life force of the user. This is the teaching of the occult. This is exactly what we were introduced into in Star Wars and E.T., that there is some magical power, some life force that runs throughout the universe.
You have eyewitnesses. For instance, one case, the parents saw their child summon Dungeons and Dragons demons into his room before he killed himself.
Boycott Disney? We have good reason to do so. And I have good reason to ask you to join us. Millions of other people have joined us. This is a boycott with a just cause.
A just cause, the Disney boycott. Their anti-family actions have spoken louder than its corporate image and cartoon logos. Those actions are causing more and more groups to say enough is enough.
The Assemblies of God announced today they were boycotting the Walt Disney Company.
Disney extended insurance benefits to the live-in partners of homosexual employees. Disney-owned ABC led the TV networks in the number of prime-time gay characters. Homosexuality, violence, anti-Christian themes, profanity, obscenity.
What they're wanting us to do is to simply look at tolerance as the supreme ethic of this generation.
Disneyland is pushing the homosexual lifestyle.
Let's review some of those Disney classics. The story of Snow White includes witches, magic mirrors, sorcery, and spells. Cinderella, even in the opening scene, they tell you that it's an enchanting story about magic. The Bible is clear. No enchanter, no magic. In The Little Mermaid, there's witches, there's spells. In the story of Pocahontas, she consults a familiar tree spirit to guide her. Jasmine is supposed to marry the prince, but instead she falls in love with the thief. This also contains magic and sorcery. Mulan's best friend is a little red dragon who lies to her and speaks to the dead, which is necromancing. The Prince and the Frog is all about voodoo. And of course, Mickey is the sorcerer himself. And let's talk about Frozen. When Elsa decides to build her own ice castle, she sings that song, Let It Go. And the lyrics say, no right, no wrong, no rules for me, I'm free. This is a most dangerous philosophy to plant into children's minds. You see, the Ten Commandments are our only guide for right and wrong. The Bible is very clear. We are to have nothing to do with these things, period. In fact, the Bible describes these practices as an abomination to the Lord, meaning that God hates these things. And if God hates them, do you think that we should have any involvement in watching them? Romans 1:32 states very clearly, who knowing the judgment of God, they that which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. If we simply enjoy the things that the Bible defines as sin, for example, magic and sorcery, we are worthy of that same judgment by taking pleasure in watching others commit those sins.
worthy of death.